Yes, people, welcome back to Albert JTV Friday night live at the Albert JTV household. People, match preview time, Arsenal versus Liverpool. But before we get into it, let's hit the intro. Footballing community, you should know what to do by now. Like, share, and subscribe. Welcome back to Albert JTV. A social media platform. Know what you're talking about. And what I mean by that is goals, ESR and Saka have done well. They've done okay. They've done well. And there you have it, people. Friday night live on YouTube with Albert JTV and my good friend, who I'm going to introduce in a moment. People, as I like to say, the obligatories, obliterate the like button already. And if you don't get a chance to do it right now, at some point during the stream or watching it back on a rerun, smash the like button and get them algorithms up. Yeah, people, Friday Night Live. First of all, big shout out to the England Roses for the World Cup in New Zealand. I will be watching. The time difference is a bit. I did see the time for the games. It's a bit sketchy. You're talking about 4:45 in the morning, but I'll be up watching that, man. But I've got a special guest in me, top man, big Liverpool fan. We have the Dugout Football Channel, Douglas, mate. Welcome back to Albert JT. It's been too long. How you been, man?
Yeah, I'm good, mate. Thank you very much for the opportunity and coming on this evening. It's great to be back and really looking forward to Sunday's game.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I won't be there at the game, people, on Sunday, unfortunately, because prices are not cheap to go and watch Arsenal. I'd try to get tickets to be fair, with how well they're doing, but people, listen, I'll have to settle with TV to watch it. But Doug, it's great to get you on, man. Like I said, it's been a while since you've been on. Fantastic guest. Keep the amazing work on your channel, man. You're putting in the time and the effort, and you deserve it, man. So keep up the good work, man. But
Thank you.
yeah, let's kick off, man, because not going to keep you too long. Friday night, and some sport on TV. But yeah, sort of first question to you, mate, is sort of taking it back to the start, really, before the start of the 7 games, in terms of what you felt Liverpool needed, maybe in terms of recruitment, and what you've actually, in terms of players you bought in. What have you made of it as a Liverpool fan?
Well, the players that we brought in, Darwin Núñez, I think that was going to be happening. We've been scouting for about 2-3 years, and I think there was a lot of talk that Klopp was wanting him. Fabio Carvalho, I think that's a very, very good signing for us.
Yeah.
I think he's been very, very good since he's joined. Calvin Ramsey as well. We needed a backup for Trent. Arthur Melo, that one looks like it's probably not going to be a success. He's actually injured again.
Oh wow.
But the glaring thing that we didn't strengthen on was the midfield. I think it's glaringly obvious to see that our midfield is very aging, and I just think that you look at what Manchester City have done. They've strengthened. They've kind of strengthened in the squad almost a little bit. And for us, we've been kind of left behind with not signing a midfielder. But I was one of those ones that was very vocal about we needed midfield cover. I didn't want to go into a situation like 2021 where we had 22 different centre back partnerships. I don't want to go into this season with 22 different midfield partners. So midfield was a glaring opportunity to strengthen, and we didn't do it.
Yeah, you talk about midfield. Listen, many Arsenal fans will testify to this. Going back from what we've seen in recent years, particularly last season and coming into this season, even though we got our business relatively done early, still, I think even still now, and there's rumours that Arsenal will go back in for Douglas Luiz in January. I still think what I didn't want, Doug, as an Arsenal fan, me personally speaking, because I don't want to speak for the rest of the Arsenal fan base because there's some very different views on social media you would have seen. But yeah, we needed to. I didn't want Arsenal going into this season with the same quartet midfield coming into this season. I just didn't think it would have been sustainable enough or good enough to go through the entire season to sustain a top 4 challenge or potentially even a top 3 finish. But listen, I can't grumble with the start Arsenal have made, to be totally honest with you. But so, Doug, coming back to you, like, what have you made of quite a simple question, but I'm sure it's quite a loaded answer, really. So, what have you made of Liverpool start to the season first, opening 7 games? Because you are sitting in ninth, 7 games in, 1-2 drawn, 4 lost, 1, 10 points. So, what have you made of it?
Yeah, the draws.
Yeah,
It's quite simple, really. The draws have been our undoing for the past 2, 3, 4 seasons. We draw too many games. It's as simple as that. I mean, Fulham on the opening day, you could probably argue they were probably the better team, so we were a bit fortunate to come out with a draw there. Palace, we were dominant for like the first 20 to 25 minutes, and then Zaha goes on, scores on the counter attack, and then we obviously have to wait on Luis Diaz to score an equaliser. And then obviously Nunez gets that headbutt red card as well. Bournemouth was an absolute freak result. I don't think many people would have expected 9-0, to be honest with you. And then just after that, it's just been, we haven't started really well in any games this season apart from Bournemouth. And obviously Manchester United was a terrible result as well. Like, obviously you and I can obviously share that, that is our only defeat this season is Manchester United. And Old Trafford has been like, it was very, very kind for us last season and the season before, but just this season just didn't get going. And then obviously we had the sad news, obviously, about the Queen dying. So obviously the Wolves game was postponed, and then we go back, and it's like Brighton, and like that 3-3 is ridiculous. But I'd have to say that it has been a bit of a mixed start this season. But I fully expect, maybe not after this game, maybe not after the City game, to us to go on a run, because we're a kind of club that we kind of, we draw a few, we lose 2 or 3 a season, and then we can go on a big run, and we're right back into, like a top 4 race or a title race. So it's been a very mixed start to the season, let me just say.
I'm gonna start, Doug. I'm gonna chuck a question. Someone's dropped a question in the chat. I'm gonna come to it in a second. But yeah, I mean, I went to the North London Derby, which was a struggle in itself just to get a ticket. But thankfully, a couple of people in the Arsenal community came through for me. So I remember coming home from the game and I saw the score coming from Anfield. I had to double check the calendar. I said, what? I said, Anfield. I said, wow. I said, what's going on at Liverpool? But as you alluded to, you make a good point, man. We lost 1 game. I mean, I saw a stat, Doug. You might have seen this actually. I only came across this about an hour ago, that you conceded the first goal at 9 out of the 11 games, last Premier League games, but you only lost once. So yeah, Liverpool. I always look at Liverpool and say they're a team. Even if you get ahead, doesn't mean a thing, man, because they've always got that in them to come back. So yeah, I saw that stat earlier. But Doug, I saw one. Yeah, this is the question that was posed. Thanks really for the question. He said, who's been your best player this season so far? If you've got one, by the way. Yeah.
I mean, it's very, very tricky to say. I mean, Harvey Elliott has started the season really, really well. I think he's been excellent recently. But for me, I think that the one player that's really stood out for me is Luis Diaz. I think he has been excellent, and it does take a bit of time to obviously get into a team. And I think people kind of forget that this is his first full season, because he was one that came in January as well.
Good point.
So I think Luis Diaz has been fantastic. Roberto Firmino has been a big surprise. I think he's got 5 goals in I think 6 games already this season.
Wow. Okay.
So he's actually doing okay. He's actually doing pretty well so far. But if I had to give you one, it would probably be Luis Diaz.
Okay. Yeah. I'd go along with that from the games I've seen Liverpool play. And listen to people say, yeah, if the one Liverpool player that's kind of stood out a bit, Luis Diaz has done well. But people, before I come to you again, Doug, people follow Doug and subscribe to his channel. I put it in the link in the description. I've put it in the link, so just click on that if you want to multitask. Take you straight to Doug's page. Blam, Subscribe, man. So easy peasy, people. Football community, come forward, man. Come forward. Yeah, Doug, so I want to come to you again, man. One player I would definitely want to ask you about to get your opinions, obviously being the Liverpool fan you are. What's your thoughts on Darwin Núñez and his start in the Premier League? What have you seen in terms of maybe positives and negatives so far in a very, very short space of time in England?
I think he's taking a bit of time to get used to the squads. I don't think we're playing to his strengths as well. So I think what you might see at the weekend is probably like we changed formation against Rangers the other night. We went 4-2-3-1.
Yeah.
So we had like Diaz, we had Salah. I think we had Jota in the number 10 position, and obviously Núñez. And I think it kind of benefited him in that aspect. So I think we'll probably see I don't think he'll start on Sunday.
Okay.
But what I do to say about Núñez, I think he is only young, and it has taken a few players to get gelled in before. Like it took, like if I remember, Sadio Mane took a bit of time to get going. Andy Robertson had a little bit of time to get going. Obviously,
Yeah,
Costa Simicas as well. So it does take a bit of time to, get used to obviously being in the squad. I think Núñez, to an extent, some of the games he has played, he obviously scored in his Premier League debut. That's not a bad.
not
That's
a
not
bad
a bad,
start.
bad way to start. No.
Yeah.
The Crystal Palace red card is, it's.
Yeah.
It was. He lost his head quite literally. Everton, he was unlucky. I think he had one shot that went off the crossbar. I think Jordan Pickford, who was magnificent on that day, I think he tipped one onto that one as well. He is making chances. He's getting in the right areas. I think he had a number of chances against Rangers. I think the goals would inevitably come, but he's just having to just be patient, and I think the goals will come.
Yeah, that's the thing, Doug. Like when people get big money moves, particularly come to the Premier League, it's not so much about whether I think the league's an exciting league. I'm just looking at it from the point of view whether when people come over to the league, listen. I've seen some fantastic ballers come to the Premier League and struggle. One of my favorite players, people won't know this, was Juan Sebastian Veron. That guy was a serious footballer, but he went to United, went to Chelsea. It just did not happen. Sometimes it doesn't, but like you say, Doug, he's only 7 games into the season. He's missed some of them, obviously, due to suspension of the red card. So I think with most Liverpool fans, probably who you speak to, my good guy Mick as well, man. Big up Mick, man. I have to give him a shout out, man. Like it needs time to settle. Like even the other night, Doug, I went to the Europa League game yesterday. Marquinhos, the way he's been talked about, the next Douglas Costa, for example, that came from Tim Vickery, the South American correspondent for the BBC. That's not coming out. That's not coming out of my mouth. This is someone that knows what he's talking about. So, but again, with him, it's going to take time. Like, watch the game yesterday. There was times when, for me, the game sort of passed him by. But he's only 19. He's been ripping it up for the under 23s. But that's the under 23s. When you're playing in Europe and you're playing in Premier League football, it's a different kettle of fish. So it's just a time with these guys. I think Darwin Núñez will come good. Listen, you don't pay that type of money, particularly Liverpool Football Club, for a guy where if you're sort of unsure or listen, he will come good. Don't worry about that. Hopefully, he doesn't come good on Sunday. That's the most important thing. But people, I need to give a shout out to somebody. Like I said, smash the like button and subscribe to Doug's channel, and obviously come and follow my channel as well. She's not been too well. There's an amazing Arsenal community in terms of fine artwork. I have to big up senesketches, Fran. I'm going to get my lovely stuff on screen modeling one of her t-shirts, the Gabriel Jesus collection. People, the link is in the description. So check out a fantastic fine artwork and Gabriel Jesus' collection. Fantastic stuff, man. Talented lady. And Fran, get well soon, and I will catch up with you soon. And a big shout out to Ruth Becker Art as well, people. Arsenal community, you do know what I'm talking about in regards to both of them. So check it out. Fran's link is in the bio, so go and check out her fantastic work, people. So I had to give her a little plug, man. Come on, Fran. But yeah, Doug, one thing about the Arsenal Liverpool game, and sort of when I've done podcasting, sort of breaking down Arsenal's run of games, Arsenal's next 3 or next 2 or I actually had Arsenal down to beat Tottenham and beat Liverpool. And I didn't say beat Liverpool in the sense of we're going to smash them. I said, no, listen, again, looking at the stats, Doug, I think we won 1 in 14 Premier League.
Yeah.
That's not a great I knew it was bad. I didn't realize it was that bad.
Yeah, I think it was the game. I think it was the game that I think had just won the league.
Yeah.
And I think you beat us 2-1 at the Emirates.
Yes.
If I seem to remember, was it Reece Nelson scored that day? And I think
Van Dijk made the mistake. Yeah, I remember it. Yeah, you're right. 100% right.
Yeah. I remember we went ahead in that game as well. So yeah, that stat surprised me actually, because obviously we know that. I was really surprised when I read that. Obviously we know about your struggles at Anfield, but yeah, the Emirates is an interesting one, because like there's been like a couple of 2-2s. There's been a 3-3, I think.
I remember
a couple of 1-1s. I think there was like a 4-3 in 2016, 2017, which was mental.
Yeah.
I don't.
But you done us
and obviously like last season, like it was like 2-0. But in that game, I seem to remember you were dominant. You were absolutely dominant, and then we hit you on the counter attack. But yeah, that stat about 1 win in 14, I was very, very shocked about that.
Yeah, I knew, Doug, the thing is, I knew the record was poor. I knew it was poor, because even I was scratching my head thinking, we ain't beat Liverpool too many times home and away. And I was kind of thinking, there's not been too many games. Like you mentioned, there's been some high score draws. You've done us 3-0 in the league last season. For 45 minutes, Arsenal were excellent in the first half. I remember I went to that game. Big Lacazette chance to go 1-0. Or Odegaard, I think it was. Odegaard or Lacazette, but you get the goal in the game, 2-3-0. The game, bring on Firmino, changes the game, 2-3-0. The game's over. Diego Jota's got an excellent record against Arsenal. Salah's got a good record against Arsenal. Firmino's got a good record against Arsenal. So when I said that Arsenal would win, I was really, really based that off what the start of the season. I wasn't going on history, because trust me, I would not have said that. But I think Arsenal, it's a tough one. I think they might sneak it. Well, I'll get predictions at the end, but our record is horrendous. But I think people are very well aware, and I still want to get your thoughts, Doug, obviously not being like connected to Arsenal. What have you made of Arsenal this season? Because the thing is, and people in the chat will recognize this when they watch this about Arsenal community. Doug, we're not very liked in the media, to be honest with you. to put it politely, yeah. So, because when we go on runs of games, it's who did you play? Who did you beat? I know for a fact in Liverpool and City, maybe even, I don't want to say the name, Spurs, Chelsea, went on the same run, racked up 21 points at the start of the season. There would be less conversation about the quality of teams that they're playing against. That is 100% fact. With Arsenal, is very, very different. So I just want to get your point of view as someone who's not connected with Arsenal. What have you made of their start of the season and Arteta and sort of the players you've seen play for Arsenal?
Well, I think this is what you call giving patience to a manager. Because I remember a lot of Arsenal fans last season, like in the first 2-3 games. Yes, I know you lost to like Brentford, Chelsea, and Manchester City. Like everyone was like calling for his head. Like it's time for him to go. But this season, what I've liked about Arsenal is that Arteta knows. I think he knows his best 11 now. Like 100%. that 11 you played against Tottenham, and I actually did a watch along to the Arsenal Tottenham game.
Yeah, I
thought you were absolutely terrific. I thought you were so well organized, and you know what? I've given him stick in the past, but Granit Xhaka has to be one of the most improved players I think I have seen this season. The guy is just something else. Like box-to-box midfielder, he's probably like probably his best position. I've never understood why you wanted to play him like center of defensive midfielder or like something like that. Yes, I know he's aggressive. Saliba has been fantastic. I think having that spell out on loan in France has really, really helped him.
Okay.
Really, really helped them. Jesus has been fantastic. Martinelli's been fantastic. Saka, Odegaard, another one who seems to have, upped his game recently. Even Ramsdale has been very, very good. But I just think it's that patience with keeping faith with Arteta. And, maybe if he was like a Chelsea, he would probably be, but obviously he would have probably been gone by now. But I think Arsenal keeping faith in Arteta is now showing the results they were wanting to get. And fair play to you. I know you've only had one blot on the results, and that was obviously Manchester United. And
Yeah.
yes, you were criticised for that game as well. But I've been very, very impressed with Arsenal this season, and you know, as I said, I think I said on the watch along, I think the Tottenham and Liverpool games are the two biggest tests for you guys. And then I think after that, I think you've got like a run. I think it's like I think I read it's like Everton, Leeds,
Yeah. Yeah.
Villa potentially. Arsenal are in a very, very good state of mind at the moment. If they were to win on Sunday,
Oh,
it would
dear.
just show a hell of a lot where you
Massive.
guys have come from. I've been very impressed with Arsenal, and long may it continue, because I actually remember I remember the season, or I think of the early 2000s, where like the top four was Manchester United, Chelsea, Liverpool, and Arsenal. Oh, those were the days. Like no Man City, no Tottenham,
Yeah. Yeah.
no anything like that.
Yeah.
So I have been very impressed with Arsenal, I must admit.
Doug, say it louder. Even Richard Key said that we're allowed to celebrate.
Aye, aye.
The guys are. It's when I saw that tweet, I said we're allowed to celebrate. I was even tagged the Arsenal's Twitter account. I was like, oh my god, this guy. But yeah, it's, you know what, Doug? It's Arsenal. It's a hard one, because I think this, particularly I think for the younger generation, we probably haven't seen much success. I mean, listen,
Yeah,
I don't downplay winning FA Cups, because I love silverware. Fact, I don't care.
yeah,
But I think in terms of league titles, and I mean, I've been fortunate enough, Doug. I'm 21 plus VATs is my favorite saying. I've seen us win league titles under different managers. I've seen us win FA Cups under different managers. I must remember us winning an European trophy at Arsenal. So to see the football being played at the moment at Arsenal is enjoyable. It's going to the Emirates it's not a chore, as some Arsenal fans probably won't publicly admit, which it has been for a few years, because the football's been dire, the results have not been great. Our league finishes haven't been great. There's
yeah,
always conversation about the hierarchy at Arsenal, and there will ever continue to be. But yeah, there's a lot of hope and a lot of optimism there. And I think one of the key contributing factors to that is nothing to do with the documentary, because I always said, Doug, with the all or nothing thing, that it's going to do one thing. It's going to do a couple things for the guys, for the Arsenal community that are not in favor of the manager still, footballing reasons.
yeah,
I'm not sure if they're footballing reasons personally. And even for the ones that are totally Arteta in as such, that the documentary is going to enhance people's feelings either way. I was still kind of the same. Listen, I didn't see anything that I didn't expect to see in the documentary personally. It gives
yeah,
you more probably of an insight, obviously, into Arteta and the way he manages, looking at it through lenses and that. But yeah, the football's enjoyable to watch, man. And we've brought some players in that are hungry, that fit the player profile that they're talking about, Edu and the likes of Arteta. We have a defensive unit, as you touched on with Saliba. I mean, I was impressed with what I saw when he was on loan, but I mean, my God, to come in and perform the way he's performed has been immense. I expect to see him play at the World Cup in a few weeks or a month's time, to be honest with you.
yeah,
Yeah, Ben White has been outstanding, and I have to get
yes.
in. I have to get it in, Doug, because it's a weird one with him, because with a lot of Arsenal fans, he gets criticism, but sometimes I think it's a little bit more than that. And I'm like, listen, Ben White's not part of an Arsenal defense over the years that have been awful. He's only been here. This is only his second season, Doug. He did all right in the
Yeah.
first season, and he's been excellent.
Mhm.
And don't get me started on him not being in the England squad. That's another show, man. We could have that one another time. But Yeah, that's for Granit Xhaka before I come back to you. I mean, people use the word redemption too easily, but actually, I think it does fit quite well with this guy. I mean, I'll be honest with you. I mean, when I saw him play for Switzerland under Petkovic, I thought he played a similar role personally. But then I don't know whether the new coach at Switzerland is it. I think it's Murat Yakin. I think it is. And obviously Arteta's probably looked at it and thought, you know what, Granit, defensively can't leave you exposed anymore. So we're going to play you further up the pitch. It might have been something as simple as that, Doug, because he's never played. He's never played for Arsenal there before. And you know, defensively, he has his issues. He has his discipline problems. So the transition to play him a bit further up has been brilliant. And I've got a very good view of the third goal against Tottenham when he smashed it in the bottom.
Oh, brilliant! Absolutely brilliant. Just, I think the thing you can say about that goal is that like Martinelli does really, really well, but I think it's Jesus' run that just takes Eric Dyer away.
Yeah.
But the thing about Granit Xhaka is, and I think many people sort of forget that he was actually a box-to-box midfielder at Borussia Mönchengladbach when you bought him.
Yeah.
So I look at that, and I think Arteta has obviously noticed that playing him in that advanced role is making him be a much, much better player, because, you know, I think that's his best position. And I think, again, I think you'll probably see him play for Switzerland at the World Cup in that position as well. But no, I think the word redemption is a very, very good word to describe Granit Xhaka, because I think he's, you know, I remember all the headlines when he threw the captain's armband down on the ground. Like he was booed off, I think, as well. But this season, you know, he's actually celebrating with the fans. The fans are really, really taking to him.
Yeah, it is. It's been an unbelievable turnaround, man. It has. And listen, long may it continue. Hopefully onto Sunday and further afield. But yeah, Doug, sort of coming back to you, mate. I'm gonna ask you. I know I've not seen him play loads, but you obviously bought the lad Carvalho from Fulham. So for those who haven't sort of heard of him or seen much of him, Doug, tell us more about him in terms of the position he plays and how's he done for Liverpool and sort of the cameos that he's played.
I think the fact that we've got the 5 sub rule, I think, is benefiting him massively, because I think had we not had the 5 sub rule, I don't think you would see him much. But he's been played out as sort of the Luis Diaz sort of role. He's like a left sort of midfielder, left sort of winger. Scored the winner against Newcastle, which was very, very good. You know, he has practically played nearly every single game this season, almost. I mean, he has every cameo role that he's had. He looks like he's ready to make an impact. The game that he started against Everton, that took him a little bit by surprise. Obviously, maybe the game sort of got away from him ever so slightly, but no, Carvalho. I think it's scary to think that he's like still 20 years old as well. Like he's still got a lot of time on his hands as well. But no, I think Fabio Carvalho has been a very, very good signing, and I think as well that he will be useful this season, especially in the games where like you don't see a Luis Diaz, especially if you don't see a Salah. I think he's probably more suited to the number 10 role. So, if we do go with a 4-2-3-1, I would like to maybe see him in that number 10 role, see what he can do, because I think he is a very good creative player. And he pops up with a goal or two as well. So, but no, he has been made a solid impact since he's arrived.
No, good dog, good shout, man. People, as I always like to remind you, obliterate the like button, man. So Doug, coming back to you again, we're not going to keep you too long. So team lineups, I'm going to get both teams up on screen. People, audio listeners, you will hear this on Spotify and Anchor, so you won't be forgotten. So here we go. These are the last 2 Premier League games. I'll start quickly before I come to you about your side for your last game against Brighton. I think that's the team that will start against Liverpool on Sunday. I think the only if you was sort of looking at it from a debate point of view, it might be a toss up between probably Zinchenko and Tierney, but because Tierney played yesterday night, and I just think with the likes of Kieran Tierney and Tomiyasu, it's about getting these guys having a continuous run of games, because obviously Tomiyasu had a lot of injury concerns last season. Tierney's had it throughout his career anyway, to be honest, even at Celtic, to be fair. And it's just kind of keeping these guys ticking along, and they'll eventually play more games than the Premier League. But Ben White's been fantastic at right back, and he's comfortable anyway, but he's been excellent. Saliba's been like a Rolls Royce. Gabriel is he's done okay this season. I think with Gabriel, Doug, he is that type of defender where, and I always make the comparison with strikers before they can make that last ditch run, or they can always get on the end of something. He's the same with defending. He always thinks he can win the ball, even in areas where you cannot win the ball. He thinks he can win the ball. So I think as Arsenal fans, we're going to have to kind of get used to that with him, because he plays very touch tight and he sometimes gets himself out of position, which is not great. But to me, I'll still keep him in the team in a heartbeat. Zinchenko's been fantastic, great footballing IQ as well. Part in Xhaka works with Xhaka playing a bit more further forward. And one thing of what's impressed me with Arsenal, which I've complained about for a number of years, Doug, is the fact that we look like, in terms of the final third or front three or a front four, there is a lot more fluidity and a lot more flexibility than at any point I've seen in recent years with Arsenal from a front line. That was even with Lacazette and Aubameyang. The Martinelli, for me, one thing I want to see with him this season is his goals return. And he started very sharply. He should actually have more goals than he's scored. And he was excellent, particularly that second half against Tottenham, where he absolutely destroyed Emerson Royal, in my opinion. Ødegaard's, his work off the ball, which shouldn't go unnoticed, is excellent. And he always finds that pocket of space, and technically he's brilliant. Saka is getting to me the 20-minute cameo against for England a few weeks ago, and then played well against United. He did it, and actually I said to people, he played well against Tottenham. He might not have scored, but him and Martinelli were very, very disciplined, keeping the wide areas and trying to, isolate the fullbacks and then pull the centre backs out of position. So I thought, and obviously Jesus has been wow. I mean, for the Arsenal fans that were hesitant about him coming to Arsenal, I don't know why. But yeah, coming to you, Doug, is that similar to the team you think might start against Arsenal, or what changes do you think is going to happen on Sunday from that team?
Yeah, same goalkeeper, same fullbacks, because Robertson's injured. I think he's still injured. Van Dijk will definitely play. I think there's maybe a question mark between Matip and Konate. Okay. Personally, for me, I think I'd like to see Konate maybe, just to obviously deal with the pace of Martinelli and the pace of obviously Jesus. So yeah, I'd go Ali, Trent, Konate, Van Dijk, Tsimikas. Then I think it's going to be Fab and Thiago in the midfield. I think we'll have the different formation, and then it'll be Diaz on the left, Salah on the right, Firmino on the number 10, and then I'm going to go Diogo Jota up front.
Okay. Oh, I see. Yeah, Jota scares me, man. That guy's record. Like I say, he's one of them players, Jota, where you get a move to a big club, and he just got better. Very impressed with what I've seen, and yeah, he's got an unbelievable record against Arsenal, just like Salah, just like Jamie Vardy at Leicester. There's quite a few, but there's a few. But Doug, before we wrap up, and before I get your final score, I just want to give a shout out to two people in particular, because as many people will know, it's Black History Month, and as a young black kid growing up myself, massive Arsenal fan. When you see people that represent you and look like you in terms of the BAME community, there's two massive figureheads for that for me. And they're going to get the two guys up on screen now. Mr. Casey, Kevin Campbell, and Ian Wright. Right. I mean, these guys were phenomenal, man. was fortunate enough to, like I said, I was a very, very young kid back then, but I remember these guys very, very well, and brought some unbelievable successful times to Arsenal, winning league titles, like I said, winning FA Cups. And Doug, one thing for me as an Arsenal fan that kind of baffles me really a lot is our European record as a football club is not great. We've only won 2 European trophies in our history. And I'm lucky enough to remember the last time we won one, and these 2 guys were a major figurehead in that. Kevin Campbell and Ian Wright. Ian Wright was suspended for the final back in 1994, people, a long time ago. But yeah, right. I hope that's one thing that Arsenal can eradicate as a club, and in years to come, hopefully sooner rather than later, put us on a bit more of a higher echelon in terms of European football by getting over the line a bit more. Lost our last 4 finals, I think it is. Yeah. So yeah, but yeah, big shout out to Ian Wright and KC, man. KC, I know if you're around, mate, I'm gonna clip it. Love you to pieces, brother, man. It was a pleasure to meet you last season, and yeah, massive part of my growing up. So like I said, Black History Month, and 2 influential, wonderful Arsenal players to grace our football club. So much love to those 2. And Wright is probably busy at Wembley as we speak, Doug, as part of the analysis team for England Lionesses versus USA, which I will catch up and watch. But yeah, Doug, so coming to you, mate. You've been a fantastic guest, man. But I need to get your score predictions. Before I get that, I saw a stat. I think if Liverpool lose on Sunday, it will be the first time since 2010-11 consecutive consecutive opening away? Yeah, I think that's right. Yeah, since Roy Hodgson. It's a long time ago.
Yeah,
mate. Yeah. So that's
it is.
So yeah, what's your thoughts, man?
Yeah.
What's your head and your heart telling you about the result for Sunday?
I mean, I'm not one of these people who rarely predicts us to lose or like rarely predict us not to win. But this kind of game, and forgetting the 1 in 14 wins against Liverpool, I think this is the best time for you guys to play us, because we're not the best defensively. And yeah, I just have a feeling that you might actually beat us on Sunday. I'm going to go 2-1 Arsenal.
God, bloody hell. Listen, I'm not going to complain, Doug, but you spoke through the heart, man. But yeah, listen, I said it. When I sort of break Arsenal's games down in blocks of 3s or 5s or whatever, look at the fixtures. And I always call these games, particularly away from home, statement games. Arsenal need to start winning football matches against the big boys. We do. We need to start winning games against our rivals. We haven't got no divine right, as I like to say, but it's about time we started putting down the marker. And you made a good point earlier, and I agree that for Arsenal to go and win on Sunday, I think people need to start taking serious notice now. And it'll only be 8-9 games in, which I do understand. There's a lot of games in the season, but this is a different Arsenal side, very, very different Arsenal side. And what I do want to see going forward, obviously, if we get the win on Sunday, is I'd like to see Arsenal strengthen from a position of strength in terms of when it comes to the transfer window. So one thing, recruiting players, buying players when you need a bit of a gear change and to move people on. But when you're in a position of strength, which City and Chelsea have done over a number of years, you have to do that. And Arsenal in a good place at the moment. And yeah, I got a sneaky. I think we'll get it done. I think we'll get it done 2-1. I do think we will get it done. So win this game. Richard Keys will probably put out a tweet saying that we're allowed to celebrate again. But listen, we can't please everybody. But Doug, man, you've been a fantastic guest, as I knew you would be anyway. Much love to you, man. Keep up the amazing work on your channel. Like I said, people, smash in the link in the title. Doug is handled there. Just click on it and subscribe, man. But Doug, give a shout out to your channel, man. Anything coming up next, or other than the Arsenal game? Anything after?
Well, it's just there, the Doug Figo channel. I never know where to point.
You're pointing the right way. You did all right, man.
Aye. I'm to be honest, I've not got anything tomorrow. Sunday, I'm actually going to miss the game on Sunday. I'm actually out in an event, so I'm actually going to miss the game. But I'll obviously have a wee sneaky peek on my phone or something like that anyway. But apart from that, no, I've not got much planned next week. Actually, I might be doing a Champions League watch along on Tuesday, which is likely to be AC Milan Chelsea. Like I put a poll out on like my community tab, and everyone seems to be wanting that game. So it looks like I'll probably be doing that. But yeah, Premier League. I'm just a basic football channel, just trying to grow as much as I can. But no, thank you very much for having me. It is a pleasure, and yeah, let's not make it too long the next time.
Yeah, 100%, man. Doug, like my bro, man. Much pleasure, man, to get you on, man. Knew you're gonna come with some great stuff, man. But people in the chat, thank you for joining on the Friday night, because you're probably having takeaways, watching Soapland or football, whatever you do on a Friday night. It's up to you. Do what you want to do. But audio listeners, this will go out on my Spotify and Anchor probably a bit later, if not later tomorrow. Next, I won't be at the game on Sunday, unfortunately. So I will be. My next game will be. You know what? I'd have to let you know, people, on Twitter, because even I've had a blank and forgot. but yeah, all these cancellations. But yeah, I was at the Europa League game yesterday. Glad to see some of the other fringe players come out and try and give Arteta some headaches for team selection, which is what you want. You want the competitive nature in building a team spirit and pushing for places. But virtual chat, thank you for give us your virtual waves goodbye. As you can see, Doug Twitter handle in the box and down on the bottom of the screen. Like I said, Franny Sketches. Check out our amazing work, people. And yeah, Albert JTV, your host, over and out. So yeah, match preview is done, people, when I can find the outro. See you soon. Up the Gunners, up the Reds. See you later, people.